Show and hope, rein. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another conversation with your Afro Social Workers Forum, Germany. We are so privileged to have you all always be here and you have never missed. Thank you so very much for joining our conversation today. Tuesday is our dealing time, our conversation time, the time where we gather together to help the community. We said that everyone in the community needs a social worker and maybe specifically an Afro social worker. The work of the Afro social worker is to mentor you, to support you, and of course, in diverse areas of our lives. Be very sure to share the link, ladies and gentlemen. Invite your friends because today we're going to be having another conversation. And the conversation of today is centered on how to deal with systematic racism with as your social workers in Germany. So welcome with me, my colleague Batemona-Abeke, and my humble self, Vera Sompon. You're all welcome. Ma'am, welcome to our conversation again. How are you?
I'm quite fine, thank you. Thank you for this program that has come up again. My name is Batemona-Abeke. I'm a social worker and trauma consultant, and I'm here today, like every Tuesday, to represent the Forum, Afro Social Workers Forum, and also to introduce our institution, Pamoja Africa, that is based here in Cologne, in Germany, whose main objective is to empower, to inspire, and to motivate, and to also coach and mentor people of African descent who are living in our area and all over Germany in managing their lives and trying to settle here without big trials. Now, we have also written a concept of awareness that is very, very well received. And this concept of awareness is a method against racism and discrimination. And we are hoping and we are seeing the results already that this concept is reaching many people, reaching government institutions, reaching NGOs, and reaching all maybe big church institutions in a way of combating racism without judging the people, but subtly telling them that there is a way they have to change their attitude. And because we have different methods have been tried and they seem not to be very efficient, but this system is really working wonderfully because they don't feel maybe judged, those that are privileged. And yeah, we appreciate it and we welcome everyone who is interested in knowing this awareness concept. And we can let you know more about it. Thank you very much. Today we have the topic of structural racism. And this is the topic that we are going to talk about. We are going to define what structural racism, and this I can say in our case, it is the system that we have that sidelines Black people, and in our case, Black people in our case, from exercising their rights or having access to what is entitled to them. Now we can give a lot of examples of structural or what we call institutional racism. This is like in the areas of schools that children do not access the schools that they're supposed to, or in the areas of employment when they are qualified, they don't get access or they don't get that acceptance to practice that what they really struggle to study, or also having access to go to universities and having the topics of their choices or the studies of their choice. It's very difficult also in getting jobs, getting houses, and also basically Black people have been meant to toil for everything, that it's not usual to get something without struggling. And this is why we are here today. We want to address these topics. We want to collectively think of what is it that we have to do to expose this kind of structural racism and to say no to structural racism, to educate our people, in our case as social workers, so that we can all stand up and say no, because we shouldn't get used to structural racism as a norm or as a proper method in the society. So we welcome our viewers wherever they are, and those that are here today, you can still spread to your friends so that we don't miss anyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and I appreciate you for the amazing work that the Pamoja Africa in Cologne has been doing so far. And we want to really call upon all those who are interested and are also willing to join this awareness team and awareness system, so that we can be able together to really strategically work and create more awareness in the community while empowering as well the victims of racism, because we know that racism is trauma. Ma'am, tell us a little more on how can we know that racism is trauma. That's what we understand as a result of the challenges that we go through, and we know that when you keep having such difficulties over and over, it traumatizes you. How do you know that you're traumatized, ma'am?
Yes, this is a very good question, Vera. That people that are traumatized, it takes long to know and to understand that you are traumatized, because it's usually a process. It don't occur overnight. It
Mhm.
creeps in slowly, slowly, slowly. So let me just start. First of all, many of us, the way we came here, the way we settled, let's even start from our country of origin. Most, not everyone, most of the people left their country because of some certain instabilities. Because of these instabilities, maybe they have gone through trauma. For them to make a decision, I want to leave now and go, it's not easy. Some maybe on the way to arrive here, depending on the means of what they use to arrive to Europe, maybe they go through trauma also on the way. Upon arrival in this country, they may, not everyone, they may also continue experiencing this trauma. Not everyone, and some. There are some who will leave their country without trauma. They thought that maybe they are going for a better life in Europe. Maybe they are coming for studies. Maybe they have come here because of partners, or maybe they came here to as qualified people to to work in this country. So people came with no trauma. When they settle here in this country, because of this systemic racism that we have talked, we say this racism that silences somebody, that inflicts fear in someone. And I'm not talking about the language, because the language you can go to school and learn. You must not speak the language, German language, to exist in this country. We have a country like Holland when there are many languages that are being spoken there. So I believe those that are always quoting the lack of language is the one that makes Black people have more problems in this country. I don't believe in this. If the society is welcoming, there could be done. There could be a ways of conversing with the people until the right time comes for you to settle down and to feel like now I'm settled. If I enroll maybe in the language course, I'm going to understand it. So back to the topic trauma, because of all these experiences, some have children, and from day one, you start toiling. You go to doctors, you feel that the doctors are not treating you like a human being or the way they are supposed to treat you naturally, or the way you know in your back in your country. You go to school, starting from kindergarten, you experience some, you feel your intuition is telling you something is not okay. Your neighbors, people are frowning at you. You can't even feel free to talk to the neighbors. Any little thing that goes wrong is going to be used as a chance now to finish you. So like somebody was preparing, you manage to get a job in the company, you see that you're being treated differently. You everywhere you see there's a blockage that is always following you. This is now when you realize, let me talk about it. You go on the train, you're treated differently. So There is a system that has been created by white privileged past people, making them feel that they are superior so they can sit on black people. Because this is a system. That's why we are calling it systematic, a structural systematic racism. So all these put together make someone tired, make someone not fine. You don't feel happy. So what you do, you start withdrawing. You may start having fear before you even speak in front of a white person. Before we question your boss, your friend, oh, if I question, my contract is going to be terminated. If I question the teacher of my child, maybe my child is going to be treated differently. So this is why I say it creeps in slowly, slowly. And we need to address these things. We need to tell our people, be careful. This system can kill. This system will silence you, will inflict fear in you. And before you know, you are depressed. Before you know, you've gone into drugs. Before you know, you become a criminal. Before you know, you've gone into debt. You have debt because you try to live a life that is not yours. It's a whole compound of things that can lead you to all these things. And now, because of experiencing this every day, everywhere you go, it becomes a trauma. So that if it occurs again, you won't be scared. And if you see signs of something like that appearing, it's going to trigger you to be re-traumatized like you have been before. So that's why we say generally, and this is not disputed, we say that racism causes trauma. We have parents who are viewing us or who are going to view this message this evening or another day. If you notice signs of these things, know that you are going down the drain. So this is why we have said social workers, we need to stand up. We need to explain to our people the signs, these red flags, so that you can know when this thing is approaching and how you can get out of it. Now, most of those people that have been even here before, or the young ones, they are getting exhausted. People give up because they feel, when do I go to? Do I go to police? Do I go to the lawmakers? These are the people supposed to support us and supposed to protect us. But the same system that is supporting you, or the same system supposed to take care of you, to protect you, is the one that is sidelining you, or that is going to dispute and say this is not racism, and they're going to make you look like you are crazy. We're having so many people who are in psychiatrist hospitals. My viewers, some of these black people, they are not sick. It's just because of some little things that have gone on banned along the way, and in the process of questioning it, then they become even emotional because they are traumatized and they have not worked on these traumas. They have not healed, so they become unproportional, and they will get another title. And the problem maybe that was at hand is going to be ignored, and another new case is going to be handled. The person is sick, mentally is traumatized. Let's handle this person. This person cannot be a good mother, so let's take our children from her. We keep the children we give the children safety. So it's a whole chain of things that it starts slowly, slowly, and if it's not pain, it's not if not proper care is taken, it can lead to a compound of problems. And this is why we are here, to talk to our viewers, to tell them, wake up. It's a wake up call, because when it hits, then it's sometimes too late, or it becomes so difficult to handle the situation. Thank you very much. We're not hearing.
Thank you very much, ma'am. In other words, you will say, or from what you said, I get that trauma. To recognize that you're living or maybe in trauma is the fact that you can be going through depression, denial, loneliness, isolation, feeling sad, the feeling of overwhelming, frustration, and emotional, maybe insecurity. Did I get that correct? And that emotion and that trauma comes in bit by bit. Now,
Yes.
then this takes me to my next question, ma'am. Now that we know that we have systematic racism. We have explained what systematic racism is actually, and we know that racism causes trauma. Now, my question will be, how can we properly support victims of trauma without reproducing trauma?
Okay, so this question is directed to me as a social worker, and how can
And
we
trauma too.
and a trauma consultant too.
Consultant.
So how can we handle this topic without reproducing trauma again? So
Yes.
the first thing we can do is like we are doing now. We are addressing these things in public. So we have to be very sensitive of the language that we use. We have to advise our people, if you are affected with something like this, how you can get out of these pitfalls so that you are not trapped again. We have to avoid being emotional. I know many are going to tell me, Batemona-Abeke, this is not possible. It is possible for you to avoid being emotional. Example that if you are arrested or if your child, if something happens to you or to your child, and you really know that it's not right what has been done, there is a way we always tell our people: breathe in, breathe out, master the situation. Don't just react with rage, with annoyance, because any decision that made out of annoyance, it means you are emotional, and you may land into a further problems. Now let's remain with the case study, because I work as a familiar info, as a family support here in Cologne through Jungendamt. I have so many cases where parents, there has been a problem in the family, and Jungendamt is involved by whoever it can be. Jungendamt can be brought into a family. I give an example. If parents are fighting or quarreling always in front of the children, the neighbors can decide to call police. And if police comes in a family where there are small children under 18 years, be assured that Jungendamt is automatically going to be informed. And when Jungendamt is informed, the department will call Gefährdungsdienstmeldung. This is an emergency section that is usually informed by police or by anyone who thinks there could be a problem with this family. Now, this Jungendamt is supposed to react. They're supposed to visit the family or summon the family by writing to them, calling, and depending on what has been reported, even go to the family without any informing the family. Now, when they come to you, it doesn't mean they have believed what they have been told, but it's their duty for them to make sure that what has been reported is not true. If you speak calmly to these people, if these people from Jungendamt, if they come to your house, you invite them, you talk to them, or if they call you to the office, you go. Your child is well dressed. You are talking humbly, calmly, not exposing with annoyance, exploding, not showing that you are not trusting them because they are doing their job. Until now, they are innocent. Participate, cooperate. If it is true there is a problem, accept it and say, yes, it happened. And then they are going to tell you, if this is the case, we are going to offer you this help. This is something different. But there are those cases where you really know that it's not true what has been said, and then you overreact. And by this overreacting, now this is where they are going to use now the racism in them. They are going to use their structural racism to pin you down, to look for other problems, to even say this mother is aggressive. So if this mother or father is aggressive, it's possible they beat the children. I'm giving this example to try to show you, my viewers, how this racism, this structural racism is so constructed in our society. When they come to visit you as an African mom or dad or in this family, they may see things that they are not aware of. And because they have some certain pictures of African people based on their privileges, they may use this against you. Now, for you to get yourself out of this, it will take the grace of God, or it will take you to be very, very sorted out, to be humble, to maybe inform another counseling center, to have a lobby that can empower you, that has exposed you to really face these people without being emotional. So this is how the system kills us slowly. And we want our viewers to be educated so that they don't fall into these traps. Because if you are that weak to fall in such a trap, then you're going to be a victim of structural racism. We know even when we are working every day, we are faced with it, we witness it, but we really try to manage it. And in the process, we are questioning it and we are exposing it and addressing these topics like we are doing it now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. A lot of things you said. I capture a few. You said that it's important that we be sensitive with the language that we're using, that we avoid to be emotional. And I just want to put myself in the mind of a viewer out there or a listener, and he's like thinking, you just don't know what you're saying. I mean, my child is now being examined on the street because one is suspecting that he is a drug addict, because we know they believe that Africans are always carrying drugs, and this child is 10 years of age or 11 years of age, and then you are telling me be avoid being emotional. Ma'am, can you give us some tips and tricks how to have this self control of not being over emotional that can fuse again to frustration and cause another kind of trauma?
Yes, I get you. Avoid being emotional. I've had many people tell me, how? Why are you telling me to avoid being emotional? It's almost impossible to avoid being emotional. Yes, I know you can avoid being emotional. We can control our emotions. Why are we in the first place not able to control our emotions? It's because we are so busy. We in this country, we black people, we don't even rest. We come from one problem to the other, solving one problem after the other. The children at home, the families back home, they are calling us, send me this money. At your working place, you don't even work properly because you are always working in fear. So we are carrying, because of the systemic racism, we are always carrying band-aids. In the language course, you can't concentrate like your neighbor because you are thinking, how do I provide for the family? How do I tell my mother? There is somebody asking me for this and this. When I go home, they are the children that I need to help and do this. So there are so many things that are changing us. So when somebody like this now bounces on you, so it's like something has been dropped into it, and it is the system. The mistake is not on you, mind you. It's the system that has made you this way. Now, what I'm saying is we should practice the emotional balancing is not only practiced now there on the street after your child has been arrested or suspected of being a drug dealer. You do it much before, so that when you get in such a situation, you are calm because you know yourself, or maybe you've already empowered yourself. You know how to deal with such situations. You have informed yourself of your rights in this country. You have maybe access to a counseling center, not a lawyer. I didn't say a lawyer because you can't go to a lawyer without having money. A lawyer costs money in this country. Therefore, we have social workers. Therefore, we have counseling centers that you can always, with a phone call, you have your social worker always ready at hand. So if something happens, you can just one call and ask, is this correct? Yeah. If they say they are arresting you because of this and this, you say, I need to speak to my social worker. I need to inform somebody else. I have a right in this country. When I am in trouble or arrested, I have a right to call one person. This is your right. But you can only say this if you have informed yourself of your right, that it is your right when you are arrested to call somebody, to inform somebody. And you choose who this somebody is. You have a right to phone with someone. So that's why we are saying let's prepare ourselves. And the emotional aspect, the more you are prepared, the less emotional you can be. The more informed you are, the more you can avoid being too emotional, because then you know your plan B. You know what to do in such a situation. You know that you can write a letter. You know that you can complain and you'll be harmed. You know that in every institution in this country, in every office in this country, there is always a boss of someone, and you have a right to even demand, I want to speak to your boss. I want to speak to your Vorgesetzter. And you can write a letter, not even addressed to a person, to an institution. This is why even you need to have the emotional intelligence, in fact, to know how to deal with some certain things. And how do you get all this emotional intelligence? By stabilizing yourself, by knowing who to talk to, by knowing that the white people have made themselves superior. They are not born superior. They have systematically imposed it on themselves that they are privileged, they are superior, and they have said to you, you are small. This is how they were raised, and this is how they continue multiplying it. But if you say no, they are not superior, they are human beings like me, so nobody can be there to tell you, to define you. So you are so stable, you know yourself, nobody is to define you, you know you are right, you have some people that are informed, you mingle among informed people. I tell you, it's very hard to break you. And when an emotion comes, you know how to handle it. Sometimes, my last one, before I give you the floor, we train with our clients how to act in emotional situations. Those that are really challenged, sometimes we practice with them. Some will give them a ball to be, you keep on pressing it. When you press it, the blood is going to be, the oxygen is going to be pumped again in your brain, and you are going to calm down. There are those that we even tell them, just, like a rosary, you are just touching, you have something, So there are so many techniques, there are so many skills of managing emotions, because emotions in this country can spoil your case if you have a case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just like this last word. Emotions in this country can destroy your case if you have a case. And now we are dealing, ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome to this conversation. It is a really tough conversation. We have observed in our counseling centers that many people are really being traumatized and going through the second intensive trauma as a result of continuous systematic racism, being refused their privileges, being refused services, or being refused that which really belongs to them or pertain to them. And that's why we think it is important to have this conversation on the platform of the social workers, Afro Social Workers, so that we can offer you tips, tricks, and on how to go about it and be able to overcome this monster. Ma'am, I follow the news and I have the impression that 500 years ago, racism was there. Today, after 500 years ago, we are still having the conversation of a systematic racism. Does it mean that nothing has been done so far?
I don't believe in that. A lot has happened. Let me not just start 500 years ago. Let me just say now, in this country, I'm 25 years in this country. I know when I came to this country 25 years ago, I know how this country was. I found people fighting against racism. There are people in this city of Cologne that have paved the way for where I am today. So it is a continuation. And as I've continued battling it for the last 20 years, there are some other youngsters that have come in. So if we can have that system of, like, you take over, you continue. You don't need to have to start from zero, where the people that were here 40 years ago were, where they started, we start starting from zero. So we need to have this wave of recognizing what has been done, because a lot has happened. We continue, and now we change also we change the pattern, that it is not our responsibility to fight racism that has been created by white people and their privileges. We say that we need, I always say, the racism is going to end the day a white person is going to acknowledge that it is their own creation. This is the day racism is going to end. Now, the strategy is to bring these white people to get there. Yeah, to inform them, to let them know that we need, it is, racism is not new, it has been there, it has been created by them, white people, and it is now their job to join this wagon and fight it. This is the new style since some years now. This is where we are. So we are not, it is not our responsibility alone. We need a break. We can't be on the street, we'll get tired. We must forcibly, we have to force them to be part of this because they created it. Let them carry their own cross. Let them carry their own baby racism. Let them know how to handle it. Otherwise, they will not also rest. As we are not resting or sleeping, they will also not have any peace. So this is the style. This is what I see is happening today. And the young ones, those that are starting, let them also recognize those people who have been there. Let them respect their own, like us Black people. I know of so many people that have been doing this work. And now when we start fighting ourselves, you come, you find, and give an example, you find me, all the works that I've done for so many years, you just disregard it. You start with your own new system. This one is going back 20 years ago. We are recognize, accept, because when you don't recognize those people that have been there is a serious problem with you. And we are going to remain like crabs, those crabs that walk on signs, they have 8 legs. And when one crab is trying to leave the container, the other one will pull it down and it will fall down. So we need to team up together. We need to have a very strong lobby. We can have our own differences, but when it comes to fighting racism, because this is what we face together. When they are fighting, when they insult a young man, they don't say he's Nigerian or he's from Guyana or he's from America or he's from Kenya or wherever. They say it's a Black person. When they are arresting this person, they arrest him because he's a Black person. So it is time that Africans, it's time that Black people all over the world team together when it comes to fighting racism. When does this not happen? It's because of divide and rule that have to do with colonization that started with slave trade. The white man came, divided us so that he can rule. The same thing is happening today, even in this country. This white man will offer one Black person or institution some few coins, and with these coins, you are going to destroy the work of everyone else. Do you see now how this divide and rule is working? If a pastor works with an imam, if this organization, this institution works, Black institution or migrant institution work together, we are going to be stronger than the racists themselves. We're going to combat this institutionalized, this all-day racism, this systematic racism when we are together. But when we are weak, when we are one, or a small association, we are going to be weak, and the enemy is going to reign. This is what has been happening all this while. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. The time is going so fast, and we have been having a lot of communication going on. And we said that we want to give tools, tips, and how our people can overcome systematic racism without being again traumatized for the second time. And you mentioned the fact that it is important for us to work together. It is important for the young generation to recognize the work of the old generation. I am particularly very grateful for my ancestors who did an amazing job. I'm very sure that without the works of Martin Luther King Jr., we would not be here today. I'm very sure that the people who were here, like Wonjo, who just we celebrated him some few days back, he was there, and they were examples of people who lived in Germany those days. And we don't want to believe that they have not been doing anything. I only know that racism, systematic racism, institutional racism is just like a white concrete. I call that a baton that is so difficult to break through. And then talk of breaking through alone. It means that we must be able to gather together our strength, our abilities, our know-hows, And again, it is important to record that even now at this present time, we have a lot of organizations doing an amazing job to fight or to create more awareness in the community without doing any publicity for them. I know that Tank is doing a political work, and they are also giving some recommendations for the government, the German government. I know that Pamoja Africa is doing also amazing work with the concept, and we are going to talk about the concept also now, because I see in the Pamoja awareness concept a threefold. So not only working with the victims, but also trying to work with the perpetrators, and then both on both sides creating awareness always that, hey, it is something that we should always work on it. Then we have, of course, the Sompon Social Service, that is with their program, the Racism Talk, every week, where we have sorry, continuous conversation on this racism to create more awareness. And so, yes, a lot is going on. Still, a lot is to be done. Ma'am, today we said we want to give some tips, we want to give some tools, and you said, hey, manage your emotions so that we should not recreate again trauma. That takes me to my next question. How and what is the role of the Afro Social Workers Forum in strengthening the community, and especially using the concept of the Pamoja awareness?
Okay, so the first step now that we have to talk is that the role of African social workers is in the community is to empower, to inspire, to create awareness, to lift the voices of the voiceless, and also having recognized that racism, the system itself is racist. And sometimes when you are in trouble, you go to these institutions, you are going to still meet these people there, the privileged people. These people, they have in these offices or wherever we go, sometimes they have a choice how to respond to you. But if you go to Afro social workers, they understand your problems. We are not really demanding the others, but we are saying that there is something that we know. There is something we have in common with you, affected person. You, survivor of, of racism, or you that is going through racism every day. We feel you and your problems. We understand it. We know the paragraphs. We have studied in this country, or we have studied from our own countries, and we have come in this country and we've already been accepted in the system professionally. So when you walk in my office or another office of Vera Sompon, she will understand what you are talking about. We know the laws. We work with the law book every day. We know which law to quote when questioning a teacher in school. We know which law to quote when questioning somebody from Dam who has taken your child unlawfully. We know the law to question a doctor who has not treated you the way you are supposed to be treated. So this is why we are saying we are there to empower you. We are your extended voice. Use it. Take advantage. Take advantage of these social services. We are there, we are paid by the same government to take care of your affairs. So what is so difficult? We speak your languages. We understand your culture. What is the fear? Why do you choose to go elsewhere where you are going to be helped temporarily, and at the end of the day you are going to be unsatisfied and still come back? Support these structures so that these structures can grow one day to be big, and your children that are in school, they are going to be absorbed in these institutions so that they can come and continue with the system. I keep on saying that the Turkish community has managed this. They are well represented. Go to the bank, you find them. Lawyers, you will find them in numbers. We can do it. We are many. We are a whole continent. We can do it. We can uplift each other. We can guide, we can mentor you. Now, going back to the awareness concept that Vera has talked about, Pamoja has created a concept that is really penetrating in the society, that is acceptable, that is being accepted by institutions, that is being accepted by government institutions. In fact, we are like watchdog. We are saying that in all these places, in these offices, in all events that are organized, in everything when it is sharing money, in kindergarten, in schools, in universities, in hospitals, everywhere there is racism. Now we want to go to, we want that we are telling these institutions you must apply the concept of awareness. And what is this awareness about? Because we are talking about awareness. Awareness is creating awareness to the person who is sitting in that office or who is doing some certain work, so that before they react, before they multiply this racism, before they misuse their privileges, you expose before they say we didn't know it was racism. This awareness is trying to tell them to change their attitude, because it is, if they could shape and work on their attitude, they are going to develop that consciousness, so that before they take any action they will think twice. May it be in an institution where you go in a discussion and you only find white people. Be anyone who is aware, before they hold any discussion, they are going to see that also Black people are represented, also women are represented, also people that are having mental or whatever challenge, if it is body challenges or mental challenges, they're also represented. The children are represented, the teenagers are represented, the elderly, the senior citizens are represented. Awareness is demanding for an holistic approach in whatever is being done. May it be dividing money, where institutions, organizations, Verein ask for money. Before this money is divided to who is who, you have to consider everyone with their strength. This is what awareness is about. Awareness is calling big church organizations, big institutions like Caritas and Diacony, because they are monsters, they are established, that you don't just swallow everything. Consider that there are other institutions that are also upcoming, that have been there and that are doing good job, that have people who are qualified. Why don't you consider them? Awareness is telling an employer, when you have two people who have asked for employment, don't look at the name that is Mula, and you leave the Diallo. Look at the qualifications of these people according to their job description, their qualifications, not the skin color, not their hair, not their height, not the external beauty, not their social status, not looking at where they live. No, you look at the person and give a job according to qualification. This is to the employer. To the person who is having houses, who is renting houses, give this house according to the person who has applied. If the person fulfills the conditions of getting this house, give this house. Don't just look at the background of this person, because if you use this information, you're going to favor some and leave the others. So this awareness is creating is a wake-up call. It works on the individual and exposing where this behavior of making some people to be more mighty than others. It's working wonderful. So now what are we supposed to do? Awareness is also telling the privileged people, now that you said you didn't know you are privileged, now you know. Use your privileges to help, to support those that are not, those that get humiliated and those that get discriminated. This is what awareness is about. And telling those awareness, those alliances, building those alliances, those people that have the powers, those can speak German language, to help those that don't speak German language, even by maybe making applications for them, reading letters for them, explaining to them about their rights. Awareness is an holistic approach for everyone, from a child in kindergarten to an elderly person in an elderly people's home. It can be used by doctors, by teachers, by you ordinary citizen on the street. If someone is asking you for a direction, you use this awareness and guide this person. So this is what it is, working on the morals of the people, this moral integrity that has been lost in this society. And we are so happy because we are having a turnaround. We are having white people, upon realizing what this damage is doing to people, they are joining us. They are part of our awareness team. Awareness is not only for Africans, it's for everyone. Everyone who says no to racism, no to discrimination, anyone who wants to make a change in a society is joining this team of awareness people and positioning ourselves in every city, in every office in this colony, so that we can stop any injustice being done. And we work in different ways. So we will have a special session one Tuesday to only talk about awareness. And now we're having even a course coming up. So we are recruiting more people because the ones that we have trained already are not even enough to meet the demand that is there in the society right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And you say we need more awareness persons. I think that when I look at awareness, I can summarize it in threefold. One, it's working for the victims, empower the victims, give the victim safe space, support the victim, be behind the victim, give the victim all that they need, the information and everything, and support the victim with all that they have. Now, the good thing about awareness that I see up to now is the fact that it works also with the, so to say, the people who the oppressor, but not with the sense of wanting to teach them their story, but creating that space for them to take action themselves, be conscious of their privileges, use their privileges to again support the oppressed that they have created. And then the third aspect of it is this continuous awakening, awareness in our attitude, in our character. And just like Nelson Mandela said it well, racism is not a natural phenomenon. Racism was created by you, by me, consciously or unconsciously, by the white man, consciously, to be able to maybe separate us, destroy us, reduce our privileges, make us to suffer, make us feel small. And because of that, only us again can be able to destroy those systems that we're creating. And that's why I particularly like the concept of awareness, because it engrobes everybody. So we are not pointing accusing finger on anyone. And just like Martin Luther King Jr. says, darkness cannot drive light. So at the end of the day, we want to learn from our ancestors and see how far they have gone. It takes us back to what you said. Let's learn also from our ancestors. Let us be strategical in all that we are doing and always ask the question, what is the purpose? What's the intent? What do I want to achieve and get at the end of this? And therefore, if it's empowering the people, awareness is doing that. If it's creating and making the privileged people reflect about their privileges, they were involved. And if it's working on our attitude, we are all involved. What an amazing content. Ma'am, tell us shortly about the conversation of Martin Luther King, who said you can't drive away darkness with darkness.
Yes. So we can, this is just more or less, it's a proverb. You can't drive darkness with the darkness. So you have to look for other strategies, how you can get light and eliminate darkness. So this is one example what made us actually lead to creating this awareness concept, because we have been in places where we have seen every time whenever we go, they keep on multiplying. People come for information, they live on racism, they leave this place even more traumatized in every area. In our counseling, people are walking in, they are reporting of the same, and we have to think, what is it that we can do differently? So this is why we are calling on everyone to be more innovative. You be innovative, you see a problem, you strategize how you can get rid of it. This is for me, like you need light to drive away darkness. If you stay in darkness and wait until the kingdom comes, you're going to remain in darkness. This is one of the things that has moved us to create this awareness concept. This is one thing that has triggered us to also establish the Afro Social Workers Forum, where African social workers in the whole Republic of Germany can come together so that we update ourselves, we strengthen each other, we share that we go through in these institutions, so that when we go back individually to these institutions, we are so empowered and that nobody will even know where this strength is coming from. And when we are empowered, we can empower our people. We can even contribute to our institutions, to our white colleagues also improving. So there is a win-win situation for everyone. There is a win-win situation for you, social worker, for the institution, and the client that we take care of is going to be elevated, empowered, and we will have a more stronger society. We are going to have children of African descent who are smiling and not having wrinkles here and down because of the stress they go through in this society.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I really like this conversation today. I'm going to welcome everyone who is here. Thank you. We can call you all by names, but we appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for giving us the gift of your time. And we have a comment here from Fozo, who says, systematic racism, he questions, and then he goes further to say there is racism, but it's not systematic racism. Racism is a game, so we need to play it along. What do you think about this?
Well, I think he or she has come in a little bit late. We talked about, we said there's a reason why we said it's systematic, because it creeps in, it was developed with intentions. That's why we feel that it was systematic. Yes, it's a game, but it's not a game that you just stand up and start playing. Yeah, it's a game that has been constructed to be there, and we are there to deconstruct it and tell our own stories differently. That is why we say that yes, we need to have our own structures, we need to have our own institutions, we need to have our people in authority somewhere who can talk for us. We have to see people in stationed everywhere. Like when I go to England, I see a bus driver, I see in the bank, I feel like taking breakfast, I go to an African restaurant on a street, and I find everywhere you feel represented. This is empowerment even for our children. But if you only see Black people working in McDonald's, I'm not condemning McDonald's, but I don't want that to be only the destination. Work in your McDonald's on the way to somewhere else, So we have to be also very careful. We don't badmouth other professionals or where people are working. Myself, I've even cleaned in this country, so there is no job that you can't do, but let it not be permanent. Let it do that because it's temporary. You are on the way to a better place. That's what I mean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do that because it's temporary way to a better place. And I think that this covers a whole lot of things. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Another comment says, and Marcus Gavi says that the ends you save that are selfish will take you no further than yourself, but the end you save that are for all in common would take you into eternity. Thank you so very much, Levan. Ma'am, we are rounding up. Tell us a little about the upcoming program for the awareness persons. We are looking for those who are very interested in the fight in creating more awareness on the topic of racism. I'm seeing that we are having some social workers also amongst us. If you are here, you're following us, you're listening to us, then make sure, and you love to create more awareness, you love to have emotional intelligence so that you can create more awareness and create alliances with others so that we can create more awareness against the ills of racism. This is your chance. It is coming up next month, March. Ma'am, tell us more about it.
So there is a new upcoming course because the demand has been so high. There are so many institutions that are adapting to this concept of awareness. There are so many individuals that want to be counseled, want to be guided in this awareness. And it's also creating employment for those that they need to change their job, or they need to do something to earn a living. So when you are working as an awareness person, you are paid. It's not for free. We are done with those things we used to do voluntarily all the time. So we decided to come up with another course. 2020, we ended a course, and those that graduated are now working. Now, on the 13th of March, we are kicking off with a new course. It's a crash course. It's going to be a compact course that is going to start on the 10th of March, and it's going to end of May. So it's a 3-month course. And with this 3-month course, you're going to have theory on different topics with wonderful trainers from all over the country. And after this, you're going to go for practicum, for apprenticeship. You're going to join the teams that are already existing. And thereafter, you're going to be ready to be booked through Pamoja. So we are looking at people with some certain qualifications, of course, but we are very careful not to be like the institutions that are there. We don't want to sideline anyone, because everyone can be faced by racism. So awareness is not only for intellectuals, awareness is for everyone. In our team, we have targets motor, those that are working with the children. We're having cooks, we're having doctors, we're having professors, we're having jobless people. In fact, they don't have a profession, but they are there, they have been taught, and they have managed. So if you're interested, you can enroll, and we can talk about it. And you're going to be called for an interview, because we will need to know your motivation for wanting to be an awareness person. And if it's only because you want to earn money, it's not enough. You also have to have a conviction that you want to make changes in the society that you are living in. So this is the information I can give. And we are only taking 20 people, and the enrollment is taking place, and first come, first serve basis. So we don't want you to lose this opportunity, because the demand is high. This is why we are training many people. So if you need more information, contact us either on Messenger or on Facebook or on the phones or through Sompon Social Services. They are also part of our cooperations partner, and we are going to train you. And it's going to be an online course because of the pandemic and the lockdown. And we believe that everyone will have the chance to use this opportunity to improve him or herself, so that you can continue now working in this area as an awareness person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We're rounding up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the conversation today. I appreciate you all, and I thank you very much. And Francois Chukwuemeka says, thank you very much for the objective explanations. Yes, that's why we are social workers. We are trained for that, so that we can be able to bring in the information the way it ought to be, without any attached emotions in it. So Chukwuemeka, I think you are good for the course. Register for that course and be a part of the awareness team, so that you can get more empowered and also get to strengthen the community where you are. I see Richard Sompon. Yes, you can also register, Mr. Sompon Richard, to join the awareness team. I'm seeing Mary De Caro. Thank you, ma'am, for always being here. We appreciate you. I see Mary. Mary just joined. He said, just tune in. Thank you for joining, Mary. Thank you. Just in time. Yes, join the team. We're thanking you, Messman, more for, yes, join the team. So I'm calling all of you to join the team, because we know that it is a platform where you will also be trained to have more awareness, understand the conversation, and know how to be able to support everyone, and that together we can fight, or again we can create more awareness to overcome the disease of racism. Ma'am, your last words before we're rounding up.
My last word is we are starting. Someone may see us as Pamoja institution, as a small institution, but big organizations started one day small, and it is such an honor to feel that you are part of this institution, because we have big dreams and it's becoming a reality. So join our team and join us, so that we can together find a lasting solution to this racism in this country, impact lives, and make changes and be also leave a legacy in this country, in this town. Thank you very much, and we are hoping that we will continue with this dialogue another time. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. We're going to continue with the dialogue and we want to be very punctual. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you a nice evening and hope to see you some other time next week. Remember, your Afro social workers are here for you. God bless you and take good care of yourself. Bye bye.